Welcome back to our Dream in the Woods. On the agenda for this video, more milling. Eric hit the milling hard this weekend, and so I'm out here on some weekdays that I have off. Gonna start looking at this pile here. These are basically 16 to 19 feet logs. This is a set of 25. So we're going to work our way log by log and see what we can get out of those. That'll take a few days to get through that. Got a 19-foot log, nice big one. Looks like it has a 15-inch bottom on it, small end. So I'm going to try still doing 6x10s. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right there as a 6x10. This is 19, but I need 18, 6, so should make a good log. A little bit of a bow, but essentially this is a nice straight log, so should be hopefully pretty straightforward. All right, I got that first cut and a little bit of a sweep there, but I think that'll be no problem to get the 6x10 out of there. So now rolling it and using this log turner winch. I haven't done it yet. Eric has been doing it all last weekend, and he says there's definitely some tricks to doing it, so I'll see what I can do. I think the first thing I'll do is I take out that, whatever is that, 3-inch 3x3 that I elevated this tapered end. Take that out and then swing it around. All right, bring this down, kind of like that, and then I believe we want to wrap this way so it'll turn into the log stops. So come in here like that. Something like that. Make sure that's clear out at the end, which it is. See what happens. Okay, so this is what Eric was telling me too, is this is a safety device, so it if you pull it too tight, then it stops itself. So okay, there's a little bit. Well, That doesn't seem like that works very well. I mean, it is turning that log. I'm not sure I want to be standing there like that, but so I've already kind of hoisted pretty close to my pulley there. Okay, that's turned 90, so I think I'll put a couple log clamps on it and reconnect. Okay, take the log clamps off. Okay. Okay, so we're about ready to flop. So I wonder, I don't know exactly what to do here, because then a lot of the weight of the log will then be on it. So okay, that doesn't seem too bad. Not too bad at all. Well, I'd be curious to see what you think about that log turning business there and about how I did that. That was my first try. Eric and I kind of talked about it. That safety device definitely is in the way, but it is a safety device. So I think what needs to happen, and Eric kind of said the same thing, is that this would be nice if it was out another 6 inches or so. So might think about doing that. And then he said that this was flexing up there, and so maybe adding another brace somewhere down here up would be the next improvements. But it definitely worked. I didn't lift a thing. Pretty sweet. Well, back at it again today, out here solo, and just gonna kind of pick my way through the logs and get what I can out of it. Continues just to be warm and rainy, lots of melting, and now the frost has kind of come out of the ground around here, so I'm pretty muddy right here, muddy coming in, starting to rut up here, moving stuff around, and then just look at the forest floor out here, pretty well starting to melt out in the trees. So we're going to keep at it. I don't want the mud to shut us down, but it certainly could if it gets too bad. Forecast for the next few days, more rain, more warm weather, but then in about 5 days, at least it's getting down into the 20s at night, and that should harden things up. Got a 16/6 log here. I took a little time to debark. Now that things are melted, at least you can take some bark off, that it's not all frozen up. I do have a little, this is a butt log, so a little, I don't know what you would call those when you tip a tree over and some of that stays on the stump. There's probably a term for that. Leave that in the comments. It'd be interesting to know what that term is. So 16/6, what am I targeting there? So looking at my cut list, look for 16s here. So 6 by 8 by 16, need a total of 23 of those. And I've already cut some, but that's kind of what I'll do here is, and then I need some more. We're cutting 2 by 4, 2 by 6 by 16s. So that'll try to be the bonus material along with any 1 by material. But since 6 by 10, I need 12s, but I'm saving the 12s and 10s for other logs that I might be able to cut in half and get 2 pieces out of. So this is rafter 2 and collar tie. So when you look at this, that would be this piece here, the collar tie, and then rafter beam 2, which is on both sides. So that kind of gives an idea of what we're targeting. So pretty cool. We'll get to it. So I took the first flitch off there, 2-inch piece, should be able to get a 2 by 6 out of it. But I did notice one thing about that piece. Those are the only 2 knots, maybe 3 little ones right there. That's a clear 2 by 6. Shame that it's being turned into 2 by 6, but that's what we're cutting. I decided not to go through and debark this to make the next cut. It doesn't really have any dirt, especially on the way the saw blade comes in on this side is the most important as far as dulling the blade up. So I'm not going to take the time to debark it. The other side was dirty, so that's why I went through it. All right, kind of an interesting decision here. Cutting a 6x8, so that's an 8-inch face up there. And so it's 16 feet long. I could cut this board down to a 2x6 because I don't need any 2x8s that are that long, or I could use the full 8-inch since I already have it cut to that, and then cut that down to a 10-foot board, which is going to be the floor joist. So that's what I did. Plus, an 1.5 inch was more conducive to centering the pith on this one. I could have cut another 1/2 inch and got a 2x6 out of it, but anyway, those kind of little decisions. So I cut it down. So now this is an extra board, which I don't really have use for. I'm going to keep it, but how many of those do they keep? There's my pile of keeping it. So how big can that thing get is the question. So little things that run through my mind. Beautiful log, gonna make great timber here. The winch is working like a champ. I think now that I'm kind of getting the hang of it, it's fast, it's easy, it feels very secure when you're turning it. It would be nicer if it had another 12 inches on it, but we'll figure that out at a later date. Well, there's a 6x8. Do have a little bit of pitch in it. It's poking through that little crack right there, and then a little pitch pocket right there. And then that tear out. I guess that's probably the right term. Tear out from falling that tree. But nice and centered pith on both sides, so I'll take it. It's a 16/6, so that'll either be a rafter or a tie beam. Yeah, tie beam. So ended up getting, I cut 2 more 1.5x8s by 10, and then I just have to cut these. I have 2 2-inch material, and I'll make 2x6s out of those 2 pieces. So that'll be it for this log. And get back to it. All right, log number 3 for this video. Kind of a carbon copy of the last log, 16/6. Going to cut a 6x8 out of it. That pith is skewed off to one side, so just have to see how that turns out. This one definitely has a few more knots in it. Limbs coming off of it kind of everywhere, so won't be getting any clear lumber out of this one. But nice log, nice straight log. Yeah, that pith is off to the side on this side too, so that's kind of good to see. I'll try to get that centered up there. Cut another beam. Got those 2 timbers and then some 2x6 material. Pretty convenient. I already put away the 1.5x10s on that right pallet, so that's pretty convenient just to stockpile it away. I'm going to try to make as few trips as possible with this mud, just because you just keep on turning it up. So I didn't take all that slabs over to the slab pile, just because I figure I can get a whole nother tree on there and then I'll bring it over. But since we're not bundling it at the moment, we have just been running it over to that pile, and I do have a couple people that want to cut wood out of that, so there should be a pile of it. just wanted to point out the ease of this turning here. That pulley is under tension right now, but I was able to flip it, and it's secure with the winch right there, and then pinch it on the back side with that log stop there, and then make sure that it's nice up and tight. So now I can loosen this down, take that off, and then what I do is I leave that pinched, but it can still pivot, because I may want to raise this up to, depending on where the pith sits on this log. So it looks like just by eyeballing it I need to come up about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So, and then at that time I'll pinch it on that log stop, and easy. I didn't have to use the PV at all. So it's working good, real good. Well, here's the next log, smaller one, only 10 inches on the small end. It's got quite a bow, and this is right at 20 feet long. So looking at my cut list, this is a 6x6, and I think I'm going to try to cut it in the center and get 2 10-foot 6x6s out of it, because those, I need plenty of those. So I think that's the best use out of this log. And then if I cut it, I can get this bow to come out of it, and it should cut easier. So, all right, log number 4. All right, last log of the day, 19 feet, 17 inches on the small end. Pretty straight log, big, nice, real nice log. Tried to debark some of it, some where it's frozen I couldn't get the bark off, but I think what I'm going to try to do is try to get 2 timbers out of this, either a 6x6 on top or a 6x8 on top, and then a 6x10 on the bottom. Hopefully I'm not shooting myself in the foot and getting greedy, but it would be nice to get 2 2 pieces out of this. So we'll see. The first cut is going to be this upper one, and then see what that looks like down the log as far as a 6-inch wide or an 8-inch wide piece. If that looks good, then I'll make the second cut at 6 inches, then pull that off with the skid steer because that'll be super heavy. Then probably cut the pith out, maybe not, and then flip it over, square it up to get a 6x10 out of that bottom piece. So be best to get a 6x8 and a 6x10 out of this, but we'll see. Sometimes the log doesn't let you do what your plan is, so we'll figure it out. Well, so far so good. I think it'll be difficult to get 8 inches out of that whole thing. There's that one little spot down there that dips in pretty good. But I did cut it down to 6 inches. I can always do 6x6. I'll just square it up and see what it's like. So next thing I'll do is just take that monster flitch off with the skid steer and then kind of decide whether to cut the pith out right now or flip it and do something there. So first thing's taking off that piece of the skid steer. This is the 6x10 I just finished. Nice solid, that is going to be a beam, 6x10 by 19 feet. That makes number 7 out of 8, so I just need one more of those. I made another one a couple of days ago on the bottom down there. And so move that one off. I think I'm going to try to put it on top of these 2x6s and 1x6s. And then I need to edge that 1-inch piece there, and then I'll put that 6-inch flitch up there, and then try to make a 6x8 out of that one. And then I'll be done for the day. Well, with the help of the skid steer and the winch, got that sucker up there. Everything looks pretty good as far as 8 inches, except for this little spot right here. So depending on how deep that wane is, it might be fine. So just a couple cuts left and should be done. Okay, so that's that piece cut down to a 6x8. So my question is, I'm okay with that. That's not very much there, but this piece right here, that's the one I had to cut out. So I took that out. My guess, about a 1/2 inch down, and then, you know, about 1.25 inches in. Does that compromise this rafter or beam timber? You know, I guess what I need to do is figure out what constitute a number 1 versus a number 2. The plans call for up to number 2s, but of course I'd rather have all number 1s. So anyway, let me know what you think about that. I'd hate to cut that down to a 6x6, but if it's not right, it's not right. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Been a good hard day today. I got through 4 logs, and then the first day I started shooting this, I got through 1. So 5 logs. Let's see, I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 timbers out of that, and then quite a few 2x material, 1.5 material, and 1x material. So just bonus lumber out of that. So good solid couple days of milling. This is what we need to be doing. It's 1 log at a time, and I'll try to give you an update of where we're at as far as percentage wise and cut list wise on the next video. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and we'll catch you with the next video.